GBETV. Yes, sir!
Good evening. Welcome to the Sharmin Prince Show on GBETV, where we know that progress is a must. And I'm your host, Sharmin Prince. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing with your friends. Thank you for telling your neighbors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know last week we spoke about, sexual abuse. It was a very solemn kind of show, but we are going to have those because of the topic, because, sexual assault is a very heavy topic for women and men, survivors and victims. So it is a heavy topic, and it's sometimes very solemn like last week. But I hope that you learned something and you learned about the signs and what to look for. Now, today our topic is about self-love. Self-love. Maybe grab your pen and paper, because you might get something that you can write, a truth, something that you want to practice. I'm going to share some self-love activities. So you want to ensure that you have your pen and a notebook or a piece of paper. If you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday, and may you live to see many more. If you're celebrating your anniversary or some other milestone, happy anniversary and congratulations. Also, remember that we have a Christmas raffle. In order for you to enter to win the prizes, which is a smart TV and a laptop, and there would be a third gift, and all you need to do is send us your name and your telephone number to gbetvinfo@gmail.com. Again, gbetvinfo@gmail.com. You just send us your name and your telephone number, and you will be entered to win one of the prizes. If you entered already, do not send your name again. You're already a part of the raffle, so you don't need to send your name again. I'm sure you guys are excited about the Christmas holiday, right? Because Guyana, Christmas is totally different, because you're going to start the preparation from now, and then Christmas is like a brand new day. Your house is well decorated. We don't have all those fun and luxurious stuff, and I call it luxury, trust me, because we don't have the time to put in all the work that you used to when you're back home during the Christmas. It's a production. It's a long process. We don't do that here. After Thanksgiving, you may change your curtains. During the Christmas, you may just change your curtains or whatever. Some people go all the way out, like when they're in Guyana, but so guys, trust me, enjoy that part of our culture, because for me, that's something I miss dearly, and I hate holidays because of that, because it doesn't have the excitement and the camaraderie and that community spirit. Because I remember when we were in Guyana, you will share stuff Christmas Day with your neighbors. I don't know if it's still being done, but just the memory of the excitement of Christmas I miss it a lot. So I want to encourage you guys to understand that part of our culture is extremely rich, and all the aroma that you get during Christmas, you don't get it here unless you're baking the cake in the house. So our topic today is about self-love. Now, what is self-love? Think about it. Simple, it's 2 words, right? Self and love. It means love yourself. But the dictionary says it's the regard for one's well-being and happiness. That's what the dictionary says. Now we're going to break down well-being and we're going to break down happiness. And I want to do that for a reason. Because when we hear about well-being, some of us, sometimes our mind goes straight to welfare. Your personal, your welfare, or the welfare of your children. As opposed to your well-being being your complete system, your mind, your spirit, and your body. Ensuring that they're all healthy. That's well-being. Happiness, a lot of times we look outside for happiness, while happiness comes from within. A man, a woman, wealth, whatever you think that is going to make you happy, I'm sorry to disappoint you, it wouldn't make you happy. It would fulfill your needs and your wants and your desires and your, help you to live out your fantasies, but it doesn't bring happiness. And even if it brings happiness, it's not true happiness. It lasts for a moment. True happiness comes from within. It starts right within the definition of self-love, loving yourself. With loving yourself includes knowing yourself. Knowing that you have a spirit, you have a soul, and you have a body. You're a tripartite being. So, what do you do for your spirit? The well-being of your spirit. What do you do for the well-being of your soul? And what do you do for the well-being of your body? I'm sure when you heard well-being, you didn't think about all of that. You thought about, well, I take care of myself. I bathe, I eat, I exercise. So my well-being is good. But what about your mind? What about your will? What about your emotions? What about those things? What about your spirit? What's the status of the health of those parts of you? If I had to give you a scale and say rate it from 1 to 10, what would it be? Because those things are important for self-love. So how would you rate it? Would it be a 5? Would it be a 10? Which one would be higher than the others? Think about that. And those are things we don't think about. I was talking to someone the other day and I'm telling them that a group of women actually, and I asked the $1 million question, when was your last GYN appointment? Everyone had an answer. When was your last physical? Everyone had an answer. When was your last mental health appointment? And everyone looked at me like a deer caught in the headlamps, because we don't think about that. We don't think about our mental health. We don't think about our stress level. All of that, all of those are factors of self-love. Because if those things aren't in place, it would be difficult for us to love ourselves. And then your spiritual health. How do you develop that? How do you maintain that? How do you feed your spirit? Right? You could feed your mind with reading a book. You feed your body with food. But how do you feed your spirit? Those are things that we don't usually think about, but they're important. When we come back after the greetings, we'll continue.
Hi, Merry Christmas to everyone in Guyana. Season's greetings and Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year to all my Guyanese brothers and family.
My nieces Effie, Afia, my nephews, my son Odelon, Kioma, and all the rest, Aisha, my daughter, and all the rest who I remember the name presently. But I just want to give you all a hello and a shout out to everybody. Love y'all and have a good day. All my aunties and uncles, have a good time. Love y'all.
Welcome back to the Sharmin Prince Show, and I'm your host, Sharmin Prince. Those were the greetings. Now, before we went to the greetings, I was actually stating that we feed our bodies with food. We ensure we eat a balanced meal that includes all the nutrients, and we drink water. So we ensure that our bodies receive the nutrients that it needs. We feed our minds. We read, we learn, we do things to develop the mind. How do we feed the spirit? How do we develop the spirit? We develop the spirit first by cleanliness. Cleanliness of self and cleanliness of our environments. And then after we develop that, we create or formulate a personal ritual. And when I say personal ritual, because I believe that spirituality is between you and your higher power, whatever that higher power is. You may call it God, you may call it the universe, whatever it is. So when you develop your spirit, it is supposed to commune, right, with your higher power. So you have to develop a personal ritual that is good for you. I may say meditation, but meditation may work for me, but it may not work for you. I can say prayer. Prayer may work for you, but prayer will not work for me. So it's trying them and finding your personal ritual, the thing that connects with you personally. So when I pray, I feel like I am one with my higher power. So that is going to become my personal ritual. Or when I meditate and I come out of my meditation, there is that sense of oneness that I feel. So I am going to let meditation be my personal ritual. Or I'm going to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is that I'm present in everything that I do, in everything, every activity. When I eat, I'll practice mindful eating. When I walk, I will practice mindful walk. Developing and identifying that personal ritual that will work for you to help you to develop your spirit and use it to feed your spirit. And anything you feed and remember, it matures, right? Because you're feeding it its needs and its nutrients. So when you feed your body develops, and it goes through stages, different stages. You know, our bodies go through these physical changes. Your spirit, when you feed it, it's the same. When you read, what happens? You become knowledgeable, you're well-rounded, you can have a discussion on any subject. But when you feed your spirit, you become more in touch with your intuition. And you know, a lot of times we would say, my gut is telling me not to, or my gut is telling me to. Once you're developing your spirit and you're feeding your spirit, that gut, you will know that gut is your intuition, and you can actually connect with it, and you know that this, I'm not supposed to do this because my intuition is speaking to me, because you've developed that relationship and you're more sensitive. And a lot of times when we feed our spirits, we become rich. Now, it might not be financial riches, but that can be a part of it if you know how to use what you're developing. If you understand that your spirit that you're feeding can develop and really help you to, let's go back to 2 weeks ago, walk into your purpose and embrace and fulfill your destiny, you would realize that your spirit can help you. Just having that well-grounded and holistic life where your spirit, your soul, and your body are healthy, and you can begin to fall in love with yourself. Self-love can become a journey. And you may ask, well, what does your mind, your spirit, your body has to do with self-love? Everything. Because for you to fall in love with you, you have to fall in love with all of you. Like, for me, I'm going to give you an example. I did not like from my neck up. I loved from my neck down. So I kept my body in good shape and whatever. But when I begin to love me, I fall in love with all of me. So your mind, you have to fall in love with your mind, the way your mind works, the way that you think. You have to fall in love with your will, which is a part of your soul, because you have your spirit and you have your soul. Your soul is made up of your mind, your will, and your emotions. So your mind is the part of you that forms all your conscience. And then you have that, your will. Your will is like your moral compass. That when you go to do something, that voice or that thing that says, you know that's wrong, that is your will. That plumb line that tries to keep you in line or balance. And then you have your emotions. All the feelings that you feel. The love, the hate, the bitterness, the resentment, the excitement. All of those are emotions. So you want to ensure that your spirit is being fed, your soul is being fed, and of course your body is being fed with healthy meals, a healthy diet, healthy sleep pattern, an exercise regimen, and most of all, proper management of stress. Right? Sometimes we don't even consider that as part of health. So you want to ensure that those three things are being fed so that you can fall in love with yourself. And you could begin to love you. And you could begin to value you. And you could begin to embrace the beautiful created being you are. I don't care what anyone else told you. I don't care what they said about you. I don't care what you did. It doesn't matter. Because we all did something. But self-love begins with you. And we'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue.
Next Gen Car Rentals. For reliable, clean, fuel-efficient and well-maintained cars, choose Next Gen Car Rentals. Telephone 231-8963 or like us on Facebook. Next Gen Car Rentals, taking you to the next level.
GBETV. Yes, sir!
Welcome back to the Sharmin Prince Show on GBETV, where we know that progress is a must. Before we went to the commercial break, we had a discussion about, you know, feeding your spirit, feeding your soul, and feeding your body. And, you know, we started, well, how do I embrace, how do I develop, how do I learn to love myself? The most crucial step in self-love is acceptance of self. Accepting yourself for who you are. Who you are with whatever you've been through, whatever you need to accept who you are. And if you believe that you're beautiful and you're great and you have so much potentials and there's so many possibilities that are before you, that's what you accept. You accept that as who you are. Not what was told to you or the behaviors or what the environment created that made you believe that you're less than who you are. Accept who you are. Accept everything that surrounds your existence. When you fall in love with you, you will be able to change some things. But first, the number one step is to accept who you are. Also, I just want to say this, that people that love themselves understand how they think, because I'm giving you the benefits of self-love. They understand how they think, they understand how they feel, and they understand what they want. So the benefits of you falling in love with yourself is that you'll be able to understand how you think, how you feel, and understand your wants and desires. Also, you'll become mindful of who you are. And you'll act out on what you need. You'll be able to identify your needs. Because a lot of times we don't differentiate between our needs and our wants. And that's very important. Because when you love you, you know what your needs are. And you can articulate that to someone. And you can tell them that these are my needs. You also make better choices in relationships. Benefits. Because a lot of times we want to know, if I do X, what am I going to get from X? So if I'm going to fall in love with me, what are the benefits? And those are some of the benefits. You make better relationship choices. how do you do it? After you accept that this is who I am, with all my flaws, with all my whatever, what I was teased about as a child, this is who I am, and I'm going to accept it and embrace it. And I am going to fall in love with me. If I have to stand in front of a mirror every day for 14 days and look at my naked body and create a positive affirmation for the parts of me that I don't like, and look myself in the eye in front of the mirror and say to myself what it is that I would like. Like, I didn't like my lips at all because I was teased about my lips. And I fell in love with my lips. But you'll hear that story some other time. But you have to, like for me, my positive affirmation would be, I would look in the mirror and I would say, Sharmin, you have beautiful lips. I couldn't be caught dead saying anything like that when I was, younger and growing up. Despite people would tell me about my lips, it was always the thing that I didn't like about me. So, what are the things on your body, on your physical body, that you might find difficult to fall in love with? What are things in your life that you may find difficult to accept? What are things in your existence that you find difficult to accept? And let's look at those things and say something positive. Create a positive affirmation about it and say it every day, so that you can fall in love with those things that you don't like or you don't love about yourself. Say the opposite of the things that were told to you. Like, you will not amount to anything. You're just like your father. You're just like your mother. You're just like your father family. Those are things that can prevent you from falling in love with yourself. Right? So you say the opposite. You're weak. No, I'm strong. You don't, right? We hear that often. You don't have head for books. Okay, I'll apply myself. Maybe I'll use my hands if I can't use my head. But try to create positive affirmations for yourself, for the things that you don't like or you find it difficult to accept because of what someone told you, and it's etched in your brain or your conscience, and it might be very well be a hindrance to you right now, that because of that you're finding it even difficult. As I speak to you, as you're listening to me, you're finding it difficult to accept that thing that just came to mind. Like, oh my God, my mother told me that all my life, and it might be difficult right now for me to think differently or say the opposite. But just start doing it. If she told you that you would never amount to anything, change that belief and start saying every morning, even if you don't have the time while you're brushing your teeth, I am going to be the best I can be. I am going to be the best human being that ever walked the earth. I am going to be the best me. And so you're changing the mindset, because whatever your mother told you, you believe. So you're changing that, and you're doing that every day. Everything that you do, believe that you are the opposite to what you were told, or the opposite to what you accepted. Also, I know this one, it's like a pet peeve, but you have to make yourself the most important person in the world. And we'll continue when we come back.
GBETV. Yes, sir!
Next Gen Car Rentals. For reliable, clean, fuel-efficient and well-maintained cars, choose Next Gen Car Rentals. Telephone 231-8963 or like us on Facebook. Next Gen Car Rentals, taking you to the next level.
Welcome back to the Sharmin Prince Show on GBETV, where we know that progress is a must. And I'm your host, Sharmin Prince. Remember, everything begins with a thought, which precedes emotions and behaviors. Now I have some questions for you. You ready? Now my first question, are you good to yourself? Are you good to yourself? Here is my second question. Do you treat yourself daily as if you were another person in a relationship with you? Do you treat yourself like if you're someone else that is in a relationship with you? Is your soul kind to your spirit and your body? What does your mind tell you about your body and your spirit? What is your self-talk? You know, the things that you tell yourself, especially when you fail, or you didn't do something right, or you tried something and it just didn't come out right. What is your self-talk? Do you beat yourself up? Do you treat your body like a valuable vehicle, or the most valuable item that you have in your life? Do you treat your body like that? And you may ask why I use the example of a vehicle. Think about a vehicle. Think about the things that you have to do to keep that vehicle running, and the time and the effort you spend on that vehicle. The same thing you should do to yourself. The vehicle, your body is your vehicle. So when your vehicle needs gas, you put gas in. When you need food, you eat. When you need to, when you're thirsty, you drink water. So you feed your body. There are self-love activities that you do. So you feed your body, you feed your mind, you feed your spirit. You also avoid detrimental behaviors. When you love yourself, you wouldn't do anything that is detrimental to your body, to your mind, or your spirit. You ensure that you have a clean environment. You know, your surroundings are clean. You know, in Guyana we have this saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. And if as a child you think that, you know, that's a scripture, that's a verse in the Bible, I hope none of you that are viewing believe that, because it's not in the Bible. It's just an old adage in Guyana and in some countries that we use, that cleanliness is next to godliness. And I think it's just to emphasize the importance of cleanliness and being clean, you know, personally and in your environment, and you promote that. Also schedule regular physical and mental checkup. Groom yourself. And groom yourself, ensure that you're always clean. You don't have to be in the latest style, but once your clothes are clean and it's suitable for you, that's good enough. And dress like the beautiful person you are. You know, create goals. Create a list of your dreams and aspirations. Do you have a bucket list? And you may ask, what's a bucket list? Create a list of things that you would like to do while you're alive. Right? So during your lifetime. It could seem impossible. Just create that bucket list. And you know, some of the adventure that you would like to experience. Create that bucket list. It's very important. And as you will see, you'll begin to mature in your self-love when you start to take things off of your bucket list and take things off of your list of aspiration and take things off of your list of goals. Also, when you love yourself, you teach people how to treat you, and you don't accept anything that is not promoting your value or making you feel like the valuable person you are. Because of your love for yourself, you will teach others how to treat you. And that is so important. If something or someone is not adding value to your life, get rid of it. Because if you love yourself, you know, people ask a lot of questions when something happens. You have to fall in love with yourself. If you love yourself, that would not have happened. And all this self-love, but nobody teach you how to do it. So once you learn how to do it and you begin to do it and you embrace it and you love you, you will not allow people to come into your space and treat you poorly, because you know your value and you understand your value, and you would make better choices in the people that you allow into your personal space. Practice being present. It is so difficult in our generation and time for people to be present. You're talking to people and they're on their phone. You go to dinner and people are on their phone. Parents and children are in the house and they're texting each other. Be present. If someone is talking to you, listen to them. Be present where you are. It's called mindfulness. Just being present for the moment. Practice that. That is extremely, extremely, extremely important in self-love. Just being present. Just being present in the moment. Just being present when you're doing things for you. And you're not doing it robotically, but you're doing it with meaning. And because you're present, You're mindful of everything that involve or that is included in whatever you're doing for yourself. Most important, set boundaries. I know sometimes it's hard for us to set boundaries, but with self-love comes a lot of discipline, and setting boundaries is very important because you have to let people know what lines they should not cross. And most of all, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for whatever. Let's take a break and we'll continue when we come back.
Next Gen Car Rentals. For reliable, clean, fuel-efficient and well-maintained cars, choose Next Gen Car Rentals. Telephone 231-8963 or like us on Facebook. Next Gen Car Rentals, taking you to the next level.
GBETV. Yes, sir! GBETV. Yes, sir!
Next Gen Car Rentals. For reliable, clean, fuel-efficient and well-maintained cars, choose Next Gen Car Rentals. Telephone 231-8963 or like us on Facebook. Next Gen Car Rentals, taking you to the next level. Next Gen Car Rentals. For reliable, clean, fuel-efficient and well-maintained cars, choose Next Gen Car Rentals. Telephone 231-8963 or like us on Facebook. Next Gen Car Rentals, taking you to the next level.
GBETV. Yes, sir!
Welcome back to the Sharmin Prince Show. And I'm your host, Sharmin Prince. Now, of course, we're talking about self-love. Remember, you have to accept yourself first. And everything begins with a thought. And that thought precedes your actions or your behaviors and everything. But everything begins with a thought. Always, always remember that. And self-love is dynamic. And it grows as you feed it, it will mature. So you want to ensure that you're feeding it, loving yourself more. Love you some you. Be the most important thing in your life. And that can be, we were told that that's being selfish. It's not being selfish. If you're important to you, others can become important to you. If you love you, you can love others. You'll be able to, everything starts with you. So if you love yourself, you'll be able to love others unconditionally. And we talk about unconditional love often. Unconditional love begins with self-love. Accept yourself, forgive yourself, and develop yourself. Remember, self-love includes that holistic approach with you regarding your well-being and your happiness. Happiness is not an emotion, it's a state of being. It's that place where you feel contented, where you feel fulfilled. And that is not given to you from an external source. It's all internal. So remember that you feed your mind with knowledge. You feed your spirit with whatever you develop as your personal ritual. Be it prayer, be it meditation, be it mindfulness, whatever it is. That is your personal ritual to develop or feed your spirit. And so remember that. Also, you feed your mind with reading, knowledge, whatever. You feed your body with good food, a lot of water, exercise, sleep, and manage your stress level. Now remember, on the Sharmin Prince Show, we bring you information that educates, that uplifts, empowers, encourages, and transforms. And we have that raffle that will be drawn on Christmas Day on the show. All you need to do to enter is send your name, your telephone number to GBETVinfo@gmail.com. Again, GBETVinfo@gmail.com. And you're entering to win the first prize, a smart television, and the second prize, a computer. And I think by the next show we'll announce the third, a laptop. Let me be clear, as opposed to saying a computer, and you may think it's a desktop. My apologies. The first prize is a smart television, and the second prize is a laptop. It falls on the computer, right? So, but it's not a desktop. It's a laptop computer. And I'm sure we're gonna, by the next show, by next week's show, you will be hearing what the third gift is, the third prize, sorry. Remember to invite someone to view the show. Send us your feedback. Send us a topic that you may want to hear me talk about, or something you want me to address. Just send us information. If you like the show, just tell us you like it. Tell us what, and just send us your feedback, because we welcome your feedback. We want to know that you're listening and you're enjoying the show and you're sharing the information with someone else, a friend, a relative, a co-worker, your neighbor, whomever. Just share the show with them. And same time, same place, next week. But before we go, I want to read you this quote. I was supposed to read it at the beginning of the show, but somehow or the other, I didn't. So the quote, if they made a monster out of you because you walked away from the drama, so be it. Let them deal with what they created. Be at peace with yourself and stay out of the conflict. End quote. And that's by Dudinsky. I'm your host, Sharmin Prince. Good night. Until next week.